good day everyone. So this is me, Agnes Ariate from Base Ed 2A English. So today I will enumerate and discuss to you about postmodern and modern culture in a worldwide view. So we will talk about postmodernism in 1960s, about John Francis Lyotard, John Baudrillard, Frederick Jameson, the postmodern pop music, postmodern television, postmodernism and pluralism of value, the global postmodern and convergence culture. So, but before that, I will define first to you what is postmodernism and modernism. So, when we say postmodernism, it is a term current inside and outside the academic study of popular culture. So, it has entered discourses as different as pop music journalism and Marxist debates on the cultural conditions of late or multinational capitalism. So, when we say modern also, it refers to those practices that relate to the industrial mode of production or the development of large-scale, often colonial societies. So let's talk about first postmodernism in 1960s. So in the work of Susan Sontag and Leslie Fiedler in 1971, so they encountered the celebration of what Sontag calls a view sensibility. So it is the part of sensibility in revolt against the canonization of modernism's avant-garde revolution. So it attacks modernism states its canonization in museum and the academy as the high culture of the modern capitalist world. So modernist culture has become bourgeois culture. So it has supervised power has been drained by academy and museum. So it is now the canon against which an avant-garde must struggle. And now let's proceed to John Francis Lyotard in 1984. So principal contribution to the debate on postmodernism is the postmodern condition. It was published in France in 1979 and translated into English in 1984. So the influence of this book on the debate has been enormous. In many respects, it was this book that introduced the term postmodernism into academic circulation. So for Lyotard, ang postmodernism condition is marked by a crisis in the status of knowledge in Western societies. Then for Stephen Cannon, he suggests that the postmodern condition may be read as disguised allegory of condition of academic knowledge and institution in contemporary world. While for Angela Maccabee, she claims that postmodernism has enfranchised a new body of intellectuals, the coming into being of those whose voices were historically drawn out by the modernist meta-narratives of mastery, which were in turn both patriarchal and imperialist. And now we have John Baudrillard. So according to Best and Kellner, in 1991, it has achieved guru status throughout the English-speaking world. So they claim that Baudrillard has emerged as one of the most high-profile postmodern theorists. So his presence has not been confined to the world of academia. So articles and interviews have appeared in many popular magazines. So Baudrillard claims that we have reached a stage in social and economic development in which it is no longer possible to separate the economic and productive reliance from the reliance of ideology or culture. So since cultural artifacts, images, representation, even feelings and psychic structures have become part of the world of economics. And now let's proceed to Frederick Jameson. So Frederick Jameson is an American Marxist cultural critic who has written a number of very influential essays on postmodernism. So for Jameson, postmodernism is more than just a particular cultural style. So it is above all a periodizing concept, and it was stated in 1985. So postmodernism is the cultural dominant of late or multinational capitalism. So his argument is informed by Ernest Mandel's characterization of capitalism's three-stage development. So we have market capitalism, next we have monopoly capitalism, and last is the late or multinational capitalism. So Jameson's argument also borrows from Williams' influential claim that given social formation will always consist of three cultural movements. So first we have dominant, emergent, and residual. So Williams' argument is more than from one historical period to another does not usually involve the complete collapse of one cultural mode and installation of another. And now we will talk about postmodern pop music. So postmodern and popular culture might highlight any number of different cultural texts and practices. For example, television, music video, advertising, film, pop music, and fashion. So for Jameson, the difference between modernist and postmodernist pop music is quite clear. So the Beatles and the Rolling Stones represent a modernist movement against which punk rock. So the Clash is, for example, and the new wave taking hits, for example, can be seen as postmodernist. And next is the postmodern television. So television, like pop music, does not have a period of modernism to which it can be post. But as Jim Collins points out, television is often seen as the quintessence of postmodern culture. So this claim can be made on the basis of number of televisions, textual and contextual features. And next we have postmodernism and the pluralism of value. So postmodernism has disturbed many of the old sentences surrounding questions of cultural value. In particular, it has problematized the question of why some texts are canonized while others disappear without trace. So that is why only certain texts supposedly pass the text of time. Now talking about the global postmodern. In one way in which the world is said to be becoming postmodern is in its increasing globalization. So perhaps the dominant view of globalization, especially in discussion of globalization and culture, is to see it as the reduction of the world to an American global village. So a global village in which everyone speaks English with an American accent, wears leather jeans and Wrangler shirts, drinks Coca-Cola, eats at McDonald's, surfs at the net on the computer, overflowing with Microsoft software, listens to rock or country music, watches a mixture of NTV and CNN, and many more. And according to this scenario, globalization is the supposed successful imposition of America culture around the globe, in which the economic success of America capitalism is underpinned by the cultural destroying indigenous cultural work that is commodities supposedly do ineffectively, destroying indigenous culture and imposing an American way of life on local populations. And talking about convergence culture, another aspect of the postmodernist convergence culture where old and new media collide. So, where grassroots and corporate media intersect, where the power of media producers and the power of the media consumer interact in unpredictable ways. So convergence involves the flow of media context across a range of different convergence culture, like most popular culture discussed in this book, is a site of struggle and negotiation. So convergence culture is the result of three factors. The first is the concentration of media ownership. So owning a range of different platforms encourages producers to distribute content across these different platforms. Next, the second is the technological change. So this has created a new range of platforms for media content. Then the third involves the consumers of media. So the British science fiction television series Who Has Neil Perryman points out that embraces every convergence culture on an unprecedented scale. Okay, so that is all about postmodern and modern culture in worldwide view. So we've seen a lot of happenings at that time. So I hope you've learned something from me. So that's it. Until next time. So see you.